Welcome to Studio 58A live here at the Jamaica Information Service, our discussion program coming to you online. I'm your host, Vaughn Davis. Thank you to everyone tuning in wherever you are around the world. Thank you so much for your eyes. We really do appreciate it. And like we have your attention, do us a favor, no man. Same favor we always ask. Share this video with a friend or two or 30,000 so we can have a very lively discussion. And as you watch, remember to share your questions and comments down below so we can keep the conversation going. All right? Now, today, I'm young enough to remember when LASCO food drink took over Jamaica and became a staple in every household. And I saw the brand expand into other products over the years and eventually into a range of consumer services, pharmaceuticals, finance, health, then start honoring our civil servants. At the center of it all was a clear objective: making the products and services affordable and accessible to the common man. I think that may just be the perfect place to start as we take a look at the life of a true Jamaican stalwart, Lascelles Chin, and introduce his biography, an inspiring tale of humble origins to excellence, written by Angela Ramsey. Here today to talk about Mr. Chin are his daughter, Lisa Chin Watts, and his granddaughter, Cezanne Chin. So welcome to both of you. Thank you so much for being here. It's a great occasion to be able to talk about What a Life, a biography of Lascelles Chin. A really inspiring book. Take it from me. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. All right? All right. So, to begin with you, Lisa, this book, can you give me an idea of where the idea was to chronicle the life of this very, very esteemed gentleman here? What was that? How did that come about, and what was that process like?
It has been something that has come up several times over the years. Various people, suggesting to my dad that, look, you have contributed an immense, portfolio of products and services and just an approach to national life that really needs to be chronicled.
Absolutely.
And, for everyone to remember to benefit from. I mean, it really has been quite a story, and it's something I think he has flirted with for a long time, but didn't really, wrap his head around how I think it would have been executed when a lot of those initial conversations came up. But eventually we got it together, and here we are.
Seemed like humility was one of his other characteristics. Am I in the right ballpark?
Yes, and I think that has been a part of it too. He just views it as, I'm doing what I need to do to, live my life, to contribute to the business world, to contribute to national life and national development. And I'm just doing these things as a matter of course, as opposed to for documentation and, public relations.
I'm just going to work every day. It just so happens that everybody seems to think this is important, right?
Exactly.
Well, no, I mean, personally, one would have, you can't be a Jamaican and not know in some way Lascelles Chin, or at the very least, LASCO. The brand, you kind of understand that it is one of those brands that it's a staple in supermarket shelves, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? And so, I guess for us, for many persons, we just want to know, how was LASCO birthed? If you would have been there in some ways to see how he went to work every day and what kind of approach he took to work on a daily basis. So can you give us an inside scoop into the mind of the man in some ways, and how he approached business and what his whole mindset was?
Well, when he started LASCO, I would have still been fairly young. And what I saw was a level of discipline and hard work. Even when I eventually joined the company after having graduated college, one of the things that would always happen, we need to have a meeting. Everybody's schedule is busy. Well, 7:30 a.m. is a good time because I'm at the office from then. And yes, so I think that's it. Okay, so let's just confirm that from now. And he just had a very focused approach, very disciplined approach. Was always one to, I think, spot opportunities before many other people could, or seemingly sometimes he spotted these opportunities out of thin air. And I think that has been something that has allowed the business to continue and to grow in the way that it has.
That's been fantastic. Cezanne, I want to bring you into the conversation. I want to ask you, memories of your grandfather. How do you remember him? How, talk to me about him. And, as much as we're going to read this and get a sense of the man, what are some of the things we may not necessarily know in the biography based on your vantage point in his life?
So firstly, thank you for having us here. Recollections of my grandfather. Everybody knows him as a business titan and the man who was larger than life. But I have fond memories of him being a humble family man. We would always have family dinners. We would always just go up to the house, and whether it be picking fruit from the property or playing dominoes until he gives you sit still, which is almost always a guarantee.
Okay.
But he was very down to earth, very loving, very generous, and even though that was not just to the family, you could see that in how he treated everybody, from the titans in the business world or prominent persons in society to just the everyday man. He shared those same values.
All right, so I guess I would like to know for you, like, what are some of the, are any lessons? You can stay on that because I'm going to come back to you in a second. Some of the lessons that maybe you would have seen or he directly taught you, or maybe you saw secondhand that you can take on and use in your own day-to-day life.
So most importantly, hard work. You need to, if you have a passion for something, you must, no matter what, dedicate your time and your heart and your spirit wholeheartedly into it. Secondly is respect. So respect was a very big thing for him. Again, like I said, anybody, even persons tell the story, even he would say morning, even down to the ant on the ground. So respecting your neighbor, respecting those around you, and just trying to do your absolute best, find your calling, whether it be for business or it be for persons around you, and just nation building or capacity building. Absolutely. Right, so giving your heart 100% into what you love.
So like a real, as you would expect, respect, work hard, work where you want, that kind of thing, right? That's the kind of guy we're talking about here.
Definitely. One of the things that he believed is that you're not going to be successful without that discipline and that focus and that drive. You have to determine what your destiny is going to be, despite whatever your circumstances may have been. And, it's up to you to get that outcome, that you want for your life. The other thing that I have definitely taken away is not to live by a particular level of, entitlement. Nothing is promised to you. Things don't just happen. You make them happen.
Absolutely.
And so, that was definitely one of his mantras. And I think anybody who had the opportunity of working with him will remember him fondly in any meeting that you're in, and mounting some challenge as to why a particular outcome can't be achieved, you would be met with one response: excuses. Nothing but excuses. Anyway, how are we going to get this done?
All right.
And it's that level of passion and focus that really allowed the company, and I think him on a personal level, to achieve that which he did.
All right, that's so amazing. I mean, generally, we find that with a lot of persons from his generation, and that is the hallmark. Work hard, get it done, no excuses, because, that's just the way it is. You just have to get it done because that's just how it is. If you want a particular result, you have to work hard. Now, let me ask you, that's the man, and are there any anecdotes you can share about, perhaps, as Cezanne introduced the softer side of the man and the family man, and how he interacted with you? Because, I'm sure there's more than, one side to the gentleman. We know what he's in the boardroom, and so on and so forth. And that's, in many ways, that may be the person that we know, because we know his products and we know what he would have to do to make sure that those products get to the shelves, get into the hands of the customers and so on. But at the same time, what's the other side? You know what I mean? Who is Lascelles Chin when he leaves the boardroom and is back at home with his children and his family and, in your company?
Growing up with him, I will say it was pretty normal. There was never a sense of getting caught up in, the public persona of it all. Those same values that I spoke about was definitely, entrenched at the home level. He really just enjoyed unwinding with his family. Like, food was a big thing. A lot of the gatherings and, bonding that took place typically revolved around food. And so I suppose it's therefore not a coincidence that he started a food
manufacturing company. Okay.
So that was very much in keeping with how we did things, and there was just a sense from him of spending as much time with us as he could, whether it be going on a vacation or just unwinding at home, whatever the case is, that was definitely one of his things to do. Things that people may not realize. So he read very widely.
Okay.
Did not limit his reading to just business journals or business management kind of books, but he read very widely, and he would read everything. One of the things too that is a common joke even at the office is, listen, if you are going to present Mr. Chin with a report, he's going to read it, and he's going to read all of it.
Okay.
So, he had that kind of discipline about him. When he would travel, like if he was away for like a week, when he came back, all the gleaners from every single day was on the dining table, and he would sit down and go through all of them because he had to know
what's going on
when he wasn't here. He used to watch too, like the most random documentaries.
Yep.
Some on China, some on the nature of things. Like he used to watch a lot of those kinds of shows and science evolution based type of documentaries. And I would have to say it really made him this great all-around conversationalist.
Yeah.
And that is something that I think people who would have known him on a more personal level would get to appreciate.
That's great. Now, a man after my own heart. I do believe you have to be widely read. Once you do that, your understanding and perspective of life changes in so many ways that you're much better able to really understand and resonate with what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, especially as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, and that kind of thing.
And one of the things I would say about him too, I think all of that made him a very, very practical person.
Yeah, I get that. That's one thing I hear, and a number of persons telling that, he's very much a pragmatist. Like, what's the shortest distance between my problem and the solution?
Yes.
Let's just get there and make it happen as quickly as possible. I want to switch tack and talk to you about success. I don't know how true it is, but I think I've heard that he achieved success later in life, in the sense that based on the biography I read, he would have done several ventures and so on. But, that kind of public, very, very notable success with LASCO and so on would have happened when he was, I guess, later in his life and so on. By later, let's say, for argument's sake, 40s, 50s, that kind of thing. And based on that, I kind of want to get into how he viewed success and how he viewed achieving it, maintaining it, that kind of thing. Can you give me an idea of, based on what you would have seen him, how his approach to the word success? Did he have a particular view of it, and did he kind of try to share that with you all and what that meant and how to accomplish it, that kind of thing? Yes.
Okay.
I'll get to Cezanne in a minute. You're closer in terms of the degrees of separation, so maybe you may have seen it directly.
Yeah, he didn't actually start LASCO until he was like 50 or in his 50s.
And I fall out, stick up in. I want people to understand, because there are lots of entrepreneurs out there in the grind, in the struggle, working hard and thinking, boy, it now turn, it now happen, it now work out. In his 50s, and he went on to be a tremendous success. So believe me, there's still time. You know what I mean? I always want to just reinforce that, because I think that's one of the anecdotes of his life that resonate personally with me, in the sense that, you can still keep trying and achieve this level of success in your 50s. We all think we're supposed to have it when we're 21, 22, which wildly unrealistic. But you know what? Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I think his definition of success is whatever you're doing to do it well. I'm not going to say that he had a blueprint to say you must achieve X by this time. I think it really was just more of a general view of success, that do what you're doing and do it well. But with success also comes failure. And sometimes your best successes are derived from the lessons that you learned in your failures. So, it's not a black and white definition, but it is definitely one that evolves with time.
All right, Cezanne, talk to me. What were you able to see or glean, are things you would have heard him say or seen indirectly?
So my answer very much echoes my aunt's. For him, success was just, once you're doing good work, it's not a guarantee that you'll be successful, but you focus on the work you're doing and the good work that you're doing. He would tell many times of his experiences and all the things he has tried, all the things he has done. And again, even if he failed or even if he didn't attain what he had set out to do, it never deterred him. And he would always use his own life experiences to guide me and others and say, listen, when I was your age, I didn't have this. I had to work hard for this. And what you see, if this venture didn't work out or this project didn't work out, don't worry too much about it, because as long as you continue to put in the good work, you'll get where you're supposed to land.
And that's one of the things I also wanted to bring a look into in terms of, naturally we saw his success, we saw all of the things that he would have accomplished and so on, and you don't achieve success without failure. It's just a fact of life. We know that, but a lot of people might be after feeling like, oh, he just start LASCO and it just rocket ship, straight to the top. You know what I mean? I'm sure there would have been challenges. I mean, are there any examples, anything that you can share of things that he would have had to overcome, and or things that he can say, just like when you said, I didn't have this and I didn't, I had to overcome this, that, and the third. Are any more tangible examples that come off the top of your mind that you can share with, like, okay, I had to overcome this and do this, so that other person can maybe benefit from that kind of mindset and that kind of lessons that he would have imparted?
I mean, even if you restrict that answer to the LASCO context, 10 out of 10 products don't succeed.
Whoa, okay.
We have had our challenges in terms of having to, launch a product, it not doing what you think it would have done, having to come back, reassess, determine whether or not, we're repositioning, exiting, how best to go forward. So those considerations, were a constant part of doing business. I think even from his early life too, that didn't necessarily go as planned. His upbringing was very varied, and he had to navigate a number of different circumstances, growing up with various family members and having to adapt to various challenges and changes that went along with those situations. So I think that is something that he has taken with him into his business journey, that level of grit and resilience to navigate whatever is put in front of you and to navigate it to the best of your ability.
All right, fantastic. I mean, we just get a picture of a man who just works, he just believes in the value of hard work and believe in whenever you work your way through whatever, and make sure that once you're putting in the hard work the right way, you should hopefully see the results that you're expecting to see. Am I right?
Definitely.
All right. So let me ask you now, as a man in Jamaica, coming up and as an entrepreneur in Jamaica, but let me fast forward. Let me not dwell too much on that kind of thing. In terms of what do you think is, not that he's once he's not at the helm anymore and so on, what are the core principles that you believe will drive LASCO going forward and drive you guys as you push forward in a way that will help you to honor his legacy and make sure that we still appreciate the core values you would have instilled as the company itself was established and grow and that kind of thing?
No excuses. We spoke about that already.
Absolutely. No excuses, everybody. None at all. All right.
It really is just a focus on making a difference. Whatever it is that you're doing in business, it should be making a difference in the lives of people. And I think once you really have that in mind, you really are on the right path. It is for you as the entrepreneur or the business executive to, determine what form and what shape, that will take. But that, I think, is a big driving force behind, a guiding light behind the philosophy. Really.
All right, that's something I'll stick up in and go and come back, man. Let me let you weigh in on that in terms of where you see how his core principles continue to guide the future of the company and what you're going to see from LASCO in the future, 10, 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? Your turn.
Big question. Definitely adding to that the philanthropic spirit and absolutely community building, capacity building, nation building, taking care of persons, whether it be those within under your chain of command or just those outside who are benefiting as consumers, customers, shareholders. In addition to that, again, the no excuses.
No excuses, just work.
Just make sure that ultimately what you're doing each and every day, you set your mind and heart to it to do the absolute best and give it 100%.
All right, Andre, let's zoom in on the book again. We just want to let persons know what we're talking about. This is the centerpiece of our conversation today. What a Life, the Honorable Lascelles Chin, a biography. Really, really immaculate read. Trust me, not just if you're an entrepreneur or somebody, but this is just for some that would inspire anyone who really has goals, has objectives, has things that they want to accomplish in life and feel like it might be difficult. Believe me, if you read this, I guarantee there are lessons in here that you'll learn, that you'll be able to take into anything you want to accomplish, because hey, this is Jamaica and we know the challenges that they are, and this is somebody who would have faced them and overcome them. So what a life. Speaking of which, where can people get the book? Where can they find it? That kind of thing.
Well, we'll be partnering with Bookland and Craft Cottage. Also in a while we'll be doing the electronic version as well, that people will be able to access, but that is to come.
So give it a little time, you soon can get your book and so on. So, but definitely make sure you get a copy. I guarantee it's definitely worth it. All right. I want to take you mentioned about affordability. Well, in my intro, I mentioned affordability and accessibility, and I know that was definitely a major concern of his. I know that because I just remember when I was young, going in the supermarket, you look for the LASCO product, you see, it might not be it's not the most expensive, but it's not the cheapest, but it's definitely something that we can afford, and it's going to give you quality, it's going to give you everything where you need, and it's definitely going to make an impact. So talk to me about that whole mindset and that approach of his, because it really seemed like it was a vision and a focus that everything LASCO push out there is something everybody and anybody of any walk of life anywhere can get and feel really satisfied and comfortable that you have received a quality product.
That was definitely the objective. Definitely. We were never of the mindset that because the price point may have been lower than some of our competitive products, that the quality should have been any
Absolutely.
lower. And there was a lot of effort put into sourcing the best quality products, literally from around the world. There were times when, on that quest, my father literally traveled around the world. Like, it was a round the world trip. In terms of sourcing to find not just the quality, but being able to bring it at a price point that consumers would find accessible and not prohibitive, because you really can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
And a lot of the suppliers that we have engaged also manufacture for a lot of the multinational brands that we have also come to enjoy. So we did not go subpar in terms of finding these products and establishing these partnerships. And I think that is something that has served us well over the years, because in addition to providing products and services that consumers can afford, it was products and services that were of the highest standard. You
can tell that's definitely clear. And you just crack open any one of the products, you can tell that there's clearly an attention to detail that made sure that you look, this is not less than. this is what you can open this with pride, take it anywhere and feel like it's comparable to anything that is quote unquote top shelf, whatever you want to call it, that kind of thing. I just think it's really, and the commitment to that, the dedication to that is definitely admirable. It's something that I think, and to stake your, I mean, it's like social entrepreneurship, even though it's properly fully entrepreneurship, but you can see that the social element of it was a clear and conscious decision, and that, to me, I find that extremely admirable, and just wondering how, because I'm sure there would have been times when persons would have presented the option that, so we could have probably charged a little more, we could have probably get away with a little more expensive, and so, but it seemed like there was a commitment. Can you tell me what that kind of situation would have probably how that would have went down if somebody come to me with that?
I also want to just make mention of the fact that in terms of sourcing, our various raw material and other items that go into what is LASCO, so to speak, we do partner with a lot of local providers as well.
Okay.
And I think that that's an important point to make, because it has also been something that has served us quite well, especially in these very turbulent times of supply chain nightmares and logistics that, we currently find ourselves in, COVID and post-COVID. And our local partnerships really have been very beneficial to us. So we would not want to, omit that from any of this conversation.
Absolutely, sure.
In terms of the pricing now, this is always something that has been a bit of a tug of war. As you say, there are some people who are like, well, I mean, you could get more of a margin here or more of a margin there, and they would always be met with the same response. No.
Unequivocally, no.
We are not going above that price point. When we are at that price point, we are already making X. I am not going to be greedy, and I'm not competing with my customer. So those were a lot of the philosophies behind how we price and why we price. We always try to do it in a way that still maintained that accessibility and that affordability.
Fantastic.
That you can see it in the different taglines over the years, from LASCO makes living affordable, to LASCO positive on quality, to LASCO everyday family values. The importance of making sure that everybody is able to access quality products at an affordable price point really stems from his character, and not just his own beginnings, but his own humble beginnings, but seeing those around him and making sure that everybody is able to access quality nutrition, functional nutrition, and just live the best life possible.
And this is a bit of a weird question. I might have a curveball, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So let me ask you this. We know that he has a very strong reputation right across Jamaica, especially in some of our inner city communities, because LASCO has fed dozens of people. Have you ever been the recipient, or have you ever benefited from that reputation? Like, oh yeah, Mr. Chin. No man, Mr. Chin, good man. Yeah, all right, man. Yeah, I mean, everything is all right. Has that ever been your experience for either of you? Like, Mr. Chin, him good. You know what I mean? Because of what he has done and the legacy that he has left, and the way he has made sure that everybody gets fed and gets access to quality products at that affordable price. How has you ever benefited from that reputation is the question I'm wondering.
I don't know if I've ever benefited, but I've definitely been told a lot there have been a lot of times when you come across people and they communicate same to you. And it's always a very humbling and heartwarming experience to know that your dad did that.
Exactly. I can just imagine. How about you, Cezanne?
I'd agree. Really and truly, the benefit is just seeing the positive impact that he's made on persons, not just through ensuring that our products are at an affordable point, but also through the different CSR programs he's done or support that he's given to at-risk youth or to the environment or all these and the public sector.
All right.
So the benefit is just seeing the impact that he's made over his lifetime.
And that brings me to exactly where I wanted to go in terms of outside of LASCO and being on different boards or different areas of influence that he would have had. Talk to me about the different ways in which he helped to spread his influence and make a positive impact in different sectors and so on. Can start with you, Cezanne.
So I definitely say through the foundation of the LASCO Chin Foundation, which was established roughly, I'd say, 6 years ago, but has been doing work through the companies beforehand. Definitely, he's again assisted at-risk youth in terms of the entrepreneurial programs that we have ongoing. There is schooling support for students as well as parents, because raising a child, it takes a village. There's also the REAP initiative, which is improving environmental awareness starting at the basic level for children, as well as there are so many other things that he does. You have the recognition of our civil servants, police, teachers, nurses, which has been an ongoing partnership.
Yeah, something that we really, really do. I mean, it's one of the perennial, things that we look forward to on the overall annual calendar of things that we do. We're looking nurse of the year, teacher of the year, police officer of the year, I think principal of the year as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or is that part of the teacher?
Part of the teacher. So it is teacher, principal, and the most recent addition is TVET.
Right. Continue. I interrupted you, but continue. Are there other things that they continue to do?
Just providing simple support to anybody in terms of capacity building, community building, whether it be through third party persons, or just very simply somebody on the road is in a dire situation.
And that's the kind of guy. All right, talk to me now, Lisa. What are the different? I know he would have been a member of different boards or a member of different committees, perhaps, and trying to lend his influence in a positive way to help, national development. I'm sure he was passionate about that. Talk to me about the different ways he would have tried to lend a hand to those efforts.
I think in his earlier days, post-independence, he was very involved with entities such as JIDC, JEA, JMA, and a lot of these organizations were starting out at this time and really did play a role in terms of establishing industry, establishing policies, establishing trade arrangements. He did quite a bit of traveling with various government ministers in terms of, and from both sides, in terms of crafting various trade agreements, and I guess his experience as a business person was taken into account when having these considerations and these perspectives come up. And I think that's a very important part of the journey in terms of how he would have contributed even from then. It's something that has been ongoing. He has served in various capacities in terms of Bureau of Standards,
can just imagine
about regulations, PSOJ. The list is really quite extensive in terms of the kind of boards that he sat on, and also some private sector boards over the years as well. And so he really had his handle on development at all angles. And it, I think, has been a very interesting experience for him, even in terms of guiding how he navigated some of his entrepreneurial and other pursuits.
All right, so just go back. You can find out that and more in What a Life. This is, I have to make sure I give the plug at all times. I'm saying every couple of minutes we have to make sure we plug the book, let persons realize, hey, get the book. All right, I don't know if I'm pretty sure Mr. Chin would just like no floor, just buy the book, okay? Buy the book. All information that you'd like to have, all the things that you'd like to learn, they're available in the book. You can learn about his life, his trials, his tribulations, the things he's overcome, the way he's able to grow and sustain a very large company. I can just imagine, you know what I mean? To grow from, I don't even know, it seems like a smaller manufacturing company to something that has hands in so many different sectors and doing so many things. How was he able to keep on top of all of these things? Because I'm sure he wanted to be on top of everything. I can just imagine.
Yes. He did a very good job at directing traffic. He, I think, has been fortunate over the years to have had some pretty good professional teams of, management in place to help him manage these various ventures and initiatives. And at the end of it all, he was the guiding force behind it all. And I think it really has been his vision that has allowed it to to develop and to get where it needs to get to, because as much as you will have your teams and things in place, without that overarching vision, it doesn't necessarily come together in the way that it has for us.
All right. I think as we kind of move to bring things down, I'd like to think we've given a wider picture of the man himself, the entrepreneur, the titan, the family man, the philanthropist, the man who just really wanted, the man who read widely and had a diverse interest and that kind of thing. Now, let's kind of bring things down in terms of, okay, lasting legacy, what did the man mean to you, and what will persons hopefully take away from this book when they read it and come into contact with the information about his life and so on? What do you want them to take away from the book and remember about the man?
That anything is possible. We all go through various challenges. It's not necessarily about where you come from, it's where you're going. And I think there is a level of grit and resilience that comes through in this book that I'm hoping people from all walks of life will find inspiring. Not because you may be at a low point at this point, it doesn't mean that you're going to stay there. Mm-hmm. And, at the end of the day, you are in charge of your own destiny. One of the things that I appreciate about this book is that it has been written in a way that I think is very easy to read. A lot of times biographies can be very complicated in terms of how it is presented, but that was one of the things that he wanted, was for it to be easily read and understood. That was how he was going to leave his legacy. That was how he was going to get his message out there. And I really do believe that is something that will resonate with readers. One of the other things that readers will come to find when they start reading is that there's a lot of historical context given in terms of what may have been happening at various points in his journey in the country at that time. And I think that gives the book a particular level of relevance that will stand the test of time. So we hope that readers enjoy and that they are inspired by the story, and will continue to live by it.
All right, Cezanne, your turn. What do you think people will take away from the book when they go through it and find out more about the man that was your grandfather and all that he has done for Jamaica?
So I think, given that Dr. Ramsey had constructed the book based off of a series of interviews from him, you will get his words and his philosophies and his own teachings through the book. And again, the hope is that readers will not only be inspired by his own life story and what he had done going forward, but work on their own path towards self-actualization, towards encouraging and supporting others, towards making the world and Jamaica a better place. I think in reading the book, you'll find his essence and at the core, the man that he was, and just be inspired by it, just be in awe of everything.
All right. With that said, I think the last thing I would like is for both of you to just hold up the book and give them the shameless plug. Tell people to purchase the book, please, and let them know that, okay. Louder than that. They have to make
no excuses. Just buy the book.
Buy the book. Buy the book. Coming to Bookland soon and all other places all across the island. We're going to make it widely available, I'm sure. Definitely worth the read. You will not regret it. It will be, trust me. Based on all that he's accomplished, if you can't take something from in here, I really don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But all right, I think buy the book. It's there. What a Life. The Honorable Lascelles Chin. LASCO, you know it. You know the brand. If you're Jamaican, you know this brand. You know, and a lot of us should be old enough, like myself, to know when this company started and how it has grown over the years to become one of the most successful and most recognizable brands in the country and even globally as well. It is a true success story and testament to the grit and determination of its founder, a man who definitely worked hard to achieve his dreams and self-actualize and so on and so forth. There are definitely lessons you can take away from this to really boost your overall growth and development. All right, read the book in a nutshell. All right, with that said, I think it's time for us to wrap. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to our discussion, especially those of you who have questions and comments. If there's anything you'd like to ask, drop it in the comments. We'll go through. We'll send it to Lisa or Cezanne. Maybe we can get the right information, whatever you need to know. All right, no problem. Now, remember, our audience plays a major part in our show. If there's anyone particularly you'd like us to have in studio, let us know. We'll try to have them in here as soon as possible. Don't forget to follow us online at Jamaica Information Service on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we're there. Just follow us. Well, I think while you're at it, you can probably check out LASCO as well. I'm sure you're all over the socials as well with everything that they're doing. All right. We do this every week live online. I have been your host, Vaughn Davis, and this has been Studio 58A Live. Thank you so much for joining us, and please have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Have a good one.